Good morning. Well, the morning of the party has arrived and I'm planning to do a party grazing table. I tried this on 2 occasions before Christmas when I had up to 20 people here, and it seemed to me a simple way of dealing with shortage of space and difficulty in places to sit people. So they could go around like a buffet, really. And today I'm starting by making a flan. It's going to have bacon, cheese and mushroom and onion in it. But first of all, I have to do the pastry liner. Now, I know it's going to be high protein, low carb option. This is not a high protein, low carb option because it's got the pastry base, but I'm going to show you later how I'm going to give people an option to have something without the pastry. So I've lined this with, it's a bought pastry, being very lazy. You could buy a pastry case, a savoury pastry case, line your dish, and then this has always worked for me. I prod it, poke it really well with a fork. I don't know whether you can see how I've done that. So it's really covered in holes, and I've never needed to put beans or anything like that in, which all the books and the YouTube channels show you. I've never done that, and I find that this works reasonably well. So I'm going to put this in the oven now for 15 to 20 minutes. And then while that's happening, I'm going to prepare the bits and pieces that are going in it, and then I come back to you and show you what I'm going to do next. See you later. Good morning. Well, the morning of the party has arrived and I'm planning to do a party grazing table. I tried this on 2 occasions before Christmas. Hello, back again. I have cooked in the frying pan the onion, bacon and mushrooms. Put the bacon in first, then added the onion, fried those off, and then finally the mushroom, and it's been allowed to cool down a bit. And I've whisked up the eggs, and I've grated 200 grams of cheddar cheese. You can use other hard cheeses if you wish. Now, when I made the pastry case, it's a bit warm, I lapped the pastry over the edges, and there was method in my madness, because if you cut it to the size that you eventually want it, what you find is that it shrinks and you've got only half an inch, couple of centimetres of pastry to give you a wall, whereas if you do it this way, it stops that shrinkage, and then you just come and you cut off, it's a bit messy, the bit that you don't want, so that it looks right when you put it on the table, and the flan will lift out better from the base. I don't try to take the flan out of the base, I put it on the table like this, show the markings for where to cut it, and give people a slice to lift their own out. So if they make a mess of it, that's up to them. So here we are, I'm just taking off that lip, and then what I'm going to do is to put some of the mixture into the base. But before I do that, I wanted to show you this little trick, because I said to you that I would show you the crustless option. And if you make yourself, it's not really a very good square, but about a 10 centimetre, 4-inch square of greaseproof or baking paper, and push it down into a muffin case. You'll see the idea here. It gives you a little envelope to drop your food into. So I'm now going to put in here, and you see I'm just putting 1 spoonful in, and you'll find that that then pushes the paper down into the tray and gives you a good base for pouring in your mixture later. So that's the crustless option. Now I'm going to put the onion, bacon and mushroom mixture into the flan base. Now remember, I lined it with a layer of egg and popped it back in the oven, so hopefully the base won't get too soggy. There we go. Spread it around the bottom. There's plenty of mixture here. And then the bit that goes on the top, what you need is your 5 eggs, or 5 eggs minus a bit of glazing there. About 250 ml of single or double cream. I'm just guessing here. I think that's about it. And 200 grams of cheese, but not all of it's going in, so I'm going to put some of it in and leave a bit to sprinkle over the top when I finish this process. Now I need a fork. I'm just going to mix that together. If you want to, you can put some herbs in here, mixed herbs, whatever you fancy, which is quite nice. This is quite a thick mixture. I think I might put a bit more cream in there. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little bit in the muffin trays. Put that in first, so I know I've got about two tablespoonfuls, it's looking like. And I'll finish that off in a bit. Okay, so that covers over the mixture you've got in there. I think I need to finish this off, otherwise I won't know whether I've got enough left. Just squeeze that in there. 1, 2. This is a recipe that I've used a lot over the years. I got it out of a dairy cookbook that dates back to the 1950s, I think. Quite a good standby, lots of traditional English recipes in there, but I don't suppose you can get it now. Okay, so the muffins are done, and now I'm going to put the rest of it on top of the mushroom, bacon and onion mix in the flan. And this will all smooth down, cover it, send it all over, mix it over the top, spread it over. Now I haven't put any pepper in, so I'm just going to get my pepper and I'm not going to put any salt in because I find that the bacon has enough salt of its own. And then these are going to go back in the oven for about 20 minutes or maybe a bit longer. You have to judge. It has to be a little bit wobbly when you take it out, not hard because it carries on cooking, the eggs carry on cooking, so you just need to keep an eye on it after about 15 minutes and see what you think. Okay, so there we have it. We have one large flan with pastry case, and we have 6 little muffin size crustless flans or quiches in the muffin tin that will go in separately. Will probably take slightly less time than the big one. So I'll leave you there and we'll get back to you when they've cooked. Hello again. I've just taken the quiches out of the oven, and those small ones, the ones without the pastry cases, I took out about 5 minutes early. They're only small. And this one actually took an extra 5 minutes before I was satisfied. It's just starting to go golden on the top, and I think that's about right. You can put parsley or something like that, some greenery on it. The pea shoots are quite popular these days, aren't they? You get them in restaurants, so that would make it look quite attractive. So those are done. I'm just going to put them over here where they can cool, and then I'm moving on to the next thing, which is chicken drumsticks. Now, normally I would make up a coating, a marinade that had honey or something like that in it, but because I want to keep the carbs down, I have got another recipe which I'm going to put into practice here now. It starts with, some salt, about a teaspoonful. I think that's about enough. 2 teaspoons of paprika. Whoops, always happens, doesn't it? Let's get rid of some of that. Right, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of curry powder. This is just an ordinary common or garden shop bought one. So 2 of those. And some garlic salt. Again, about a teaspoon, maybe not quite so much, because we've already got, this gives it a bit of a kick. And then 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Now, I didn't have any sour cream, and I just discovered I'd run out of an alternative, which would be Greek yogurt. So I've added some lemon juice to some cream, and it's turned nicely for me. I'm being a bit impatient with it because normally you'd leave it longer. That's that. And then 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. And then we mix that up, and that should give us a coating to cover our chicken with. Now I've got 16, about 16 chicken legs, so we'll see how we go with this. Now I've got a big tray because I need to be given space to cook, and I've put a liner to take up some of the juices as it tips out. So that's over there ready to take the chickens. And I'm just going to apply this. One done. 2 done. Some people would do this with their fingers, but I'm afraid I find that a bit mucky. So I'm going to do the rest, and then I'll show you what they look like before they go in the oven. Hello, well, I finished marinating the chicken thighs or the drumsticks, and now I'm just going to put some greaseproof paper over the top just to stop them burning and try to keep out some of the air. And I've also got a few chipolata sausages. I couldn't get cocktail sausages. They used to be very popular, maybe more in the summer when people do parties and things. I don't know. So these ones are local Gloucestershire chipolata sausages made by a local farm, 85% pork, and so you can tell that they're a nice quality sausage. So a few cocktail sausages as well going in now. Hello everyone, back here having done a morning's work in preparation, and these are the chicken drumsticks you saw me cook earlier on, and I put some foil wrap round the bones so that people can pick them up without getting their fingers too messy. There's the flan that I made this morning, looking quite nice, and these are the little crustless quiches that I made, along with mini eggs and pork pie and some ham. What else have I got to show you? On this one, this is rather decorative, a camembert cheese with the heart taken out, quite a nice touch. There's dates and you can see cucumber, tomatoes, some Italian meats, various cheeses and some peppers. And I've also been out and picked some rosemary from the garden. It's quite a nice touch. Over here, I've got celery that has been filled with a garlic and herb cheese, some salmon with a cream cheese in, and some king prawns that have got chilli, garlic and coriander dressing on them. There's also plenty of fruit. There's melon there, lots of grapes, people like grapes, and some strawberries as well. And then over here, gherkins, olives, nuts, crisps, some dips, and there are those chipolata sausages that I cooked earlier on. And then just for tradition's sake, my daughter is very fond of my egg sandwiches, so I've made some egg sandwiches, some ham, and there's also jam ones for the children. And then over here, Rocky Road, chocolate brownies, and it's a plain sponge. My husband didn't want anything too syrupy in it, with jam and some strawberries on the top. I shall offer it with cream if people would like it. But that's basically the culmination of a morning's work, a bit of cooking, a lot of preparation, and there it is, happy birthday, Grandad, 79 years old, still going. I just wanted to give you one last look at the table before everybody arrives, and to make the point that there is food here for all sorts of dietary needs. Everybody that can eat normally can have most of these things. There's low carb, there's vegetarian, and there's gluten-free, there's lactose-free, and there's something for the fussy ones as well, I hope. We normally end up with sausages and jam sandwiches, but there you go. And I just wanted you to take one last look at the table before it all disappears, and it will disappear quite quickly. Nuts. There you go. Well, I hope it's given you a bit of inspiration. Certainly pictures that I've seen on the internet have inspired me to have a go at this. And it means that I'm not having to rush around at the last minute. I can do this all in the morning, put covers over it, store it in the fridge until it needs to go out, and then it's easy. I can be a good host to my guests, and that's a great thing to be able to do. Hope you like it. Please subscribe. Bye for now.